Today's is an unboxing and swatching and ArtBeek alcohol marker storage solution video. We are doing a lot. Hey, Max Magerson. Oh, she's such a good girl. So, first things first, ArtBeek sent me this enormous 262 piece marker set. So as you can see, it comes in this actually super cool case. I was shocked at how little disruption there was inside when this was shipped from Amazon. It was actually, I was shocked. It really was. Only like 3 markers were out of place. And of course, this was shipped from God knows where. But look at all these markers, friends. It's hard to wrap your brain around how many choices there are in here. So right out of the bat, while I was impressed with the packaging, I have to say I don't love it that all the colors are just massively like jumbled all together. But to make up for it, they do give you these 2 extra bonus. They give you a fine liner and they also give you a white highlighter pen, which is actually kind of nice. I said highlighter, but I mean actually just a white gel pen for making highlights, which is, again, it is nice. And there's a little bullet nib fine liner in there as well. So it's just a little bonus surprise. So as you can see, the colors are sort of grouped together. They give you a little swatch sheet. I like to swatch my alcohol markers separately on cardstock so I can label them properly. I also took this opportunity to buy a 3rd marker storage unit. These are really expensive and they are fantastic. So I am on my 3rd. So as you can see, I collect all sorts of alcohol markers. I am on my 4th set of skin tone Ohuhus. I have all the Copics as well. So I really am always on the hunt for the best Copic alternative marker. Frankly, Copics are absolutely the best for a lot of different reasons, but at $8 a marker, they can really truly break the bank for people. So I really enjoy swatching and experimenting and getting my hands on as many other kinds of alcohol markers as I can. So as you can see, these markers come in these sort of like chunks for back of a letter word. So I'm just taking them out one by one. I prefer to store my markers and frankly, all of my art supplies in my own packaging. I don't like having 8 million different kinds of storage containers around my art studio. I find it very obnoxious. So I usually remove all items, no matter what it is, from their original packaging, and I put them in a way that makes sense for me. So the first thing that I do when I get new markers is I like I just said, I remove them all. And I'm just going to start sorting. And so this video is also great for anyone who's looking for marker storage tips. This is how I do it. And it works really, really well for me. So I sort of go through and by sight identify all the colors by grouping. So, basically your rainbow: red, orange, green, blue, yellow, purple. I just said those out of order, but you know what I mean. This can be actually harder than it looks because I've noticed from swatching so many that sometimes cap colors can be really random and not correct, but also color names are not what they appear. So this is a loose guide. Just take this all with a grain of salt. This is not an exact science. And also some people say like a green blue, like a teal color. Some people would make that in the blue category. Some people put that in the green category. So everyone is a little bit different, but this is just how I do it. So I like to group like with like. But I don't know if you saw how many I was holding up. I mean, tons. So I'll show you the groupings of the different families. And then at the end, I will do, and I don't mean at the end of the video in just a few seconds, I will show you approximately how many of each color family you receive in this 262 massive set. I should also point out that makes these markers only 50 cents a marker, which is a very good value. These also come with a brush nib on one side, which for me is absolutely required. It's imperative. That's not optional. If it's a bullet nib and a chisel nib combo, I will not purchase, and I will not even accept a free set for, because I only use the brush nib 95% of the time. So that's non-negotiable for me. And in fact, when ArtBeek first, I'm such a brat. When they first approached me, I was like not interested because you don't have a brush nib option. Well, now they do, and I'm super stoked about it because their brush nibs are awesome. They really genuinely are. And so again, I kind of wish they would just do the sorting for you. I'm not sure why they scramble them all together. It's a bit of a headache to get all these color families like swatched out of there, but c'est la vie. You get what you pay for, right? That being said, again, I'm very happy about the brush nib situation, and the chisel is also great as well. So again, I'm just going through the super stupid, arduous task of pulling all these out and organizing them. And again, in just a second, I'll show you how many there are. And then just for funsies, right after I go through the number of each one, I will just show you how I organize them. I'll put it on time lapse. I'll put some groovy music on for you just to make your time a little less painful until we get to the swatching of the skin tone colors. That's super imperative for me because I teach and draw so many faces. Whimsical, realistic, all sorts when it comes to using alcohol markers, but in choosing the right skin tones depending on each set is of huge importance of me. So I will also be covering that in this video. So as you can see, there are a whopping 24 blues, 26 greens, 10 reds, 27 yellows, 11 purples, makes me a little sad, 8 oranges, 2 blacks, 32 pinks, 98 skin tones or neutrals, and 95 gray tones. 98 skin tones is freaking bananas. Make no mistake. So I was super excited, but also kind of dreading swatching all of those colors, as you'll see in a bit, but in the end, it was totally worth it. So I'll let you chill for just a second, and then I'll be back so you can check out some of those skin tones with me too. So as you can see, holy moly, there are just sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets of skin tones, lights, mediums, and dark. So I give ArtBeek a ton of credit. I mean, these are very great, super usable skin tones. Some of these I put in the category based on the cap color. As you can see, this is very clearly green. Not going to use that one. So this also just shows you the massive importance of swatching. So you guys, like massive. So for example, I also had a couple sets in here combined. This is 2 salmon pinks, and they come out slightly different colors when you swatch them. Same thing, there's 2 pastel peaches from 2 different sets. This one is darker than this one. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough how important swatching is. Here's some other duplicates. This one is darker than this one, that raw silk. This buttercup yellow is very different than this buttercup yellow. Okay, another discrepancy I found across sets is that raw silk 415, raw silk 134. So we have the same name but different numbers. And then here we have the same name, number, but different cap colors. And then here we have the same name, cap colors, but different swatch colors. So I think that's the discrepancy and the sort of thing and the variations that you see in, you know, very cheap brands compared to something like Copic, where you just never, you have like rock solid consistency, and you also have refills to put in your Copic markers that you don't and can't do for ArtBeek, but these are like 50 cents, you know, and Copics are $8. So like you do kind of get what you pay for. That being said, the ArtBeek marker, you guys, these ones that have the chisel and the brush nib, the brush nibs are really soft. They work exactly the same way as in the $8 Copic marker. So I just highly recommend, if you're doing face drawings or things with me, ArtBeek does make sets that do not have the brush nib. They have a chisel, or they call broad, and a little tiny bullet nib. So just make sure the markers that you choose, if you're going to be working in any of my classes or along with my videos, that you get one with the brush nib. And I also wanted to take a little bit of time to show you how you can use this Skin Tone Secrets book, which is all about choosing marker skin tones. Even though the book is written using just the Ohuhu skin tone set, you can use it for other brands as well. So this book has a bunch of information in it. First of all, it shows you exactly how to color with alcohol markers to eliminate streakings. It also shows you how and where to figure out where your light source is, and 3 most common shading patterns that you find on faces. So you can use this book for that. It also teaches you how to break down your skin tone colors into different color families. So peach orange, and then you have yellow shades, neutrals, pink and red. So that way you can start learning to kind of what things to look out for and what shades to look out for. And while I said 3 shading patterns, it's actually more like 6, because of course you can flip, you can mirror any side. It also has tips on how to highlight in addition to how to shade. So just again, because this book is made with Ohuhu, you can still use it with other brands. So check this out. So these are to make the skin tone shades of this baby. Okay, and it shows you the step-by-step on how to do the shading and which colors go in which step. So to use this book with ArtBeek, for example, you would simply take your swatches and you would find the ones that correspond to this one. So I think this pearl white looks just like Ohuhu's milky white. And then we want one even lighter for the warm gray. Well, this one looks lighter, so I would probably use like this floral white. So you pick out your synonymous colors, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would say 1 would be floral white. 2, we could do right next door, this BK37. And then, ooh, here we go. You could use R19 Barely Beige, looks a lot like this fruit pink. And then coincidentally, their fruit pink, I would go for something like the Skin White, which is very pinky, or something comparable. Even we could even go one darker. Oh, this is really lovely, this BK68. So you could choose, again, your whatever brand you're working with. You could just use your eyeballs and match up the colors, and then you know when you apply the colors step by step, you know that you're going to have a good matching skin tone. So this book is a great reference. Also in this skin tone books, there is a link to these swatch sheets that I'm working from so that you can swatch too. And it also links to these lovely little face drawings that I have, so you can download those for free and give it a practice. So lots of fun resources for you. I created this book to help my students over at Awesome Art School, especially in the Fun Fab Drawing Club, because we use markers a ton. But it's just, I got really sick of trying to find good skin tone combinations every time from scratch. So this way I can super quickly at a glance find the 3 colors that work together and then go ahead and render my skin tones accordingly. So thank you to ArtBeek who sent me these markers to swatch. It took forever, but it was really worth it. I think the selection of colors they give you is outstanding. I think the sheer number of skin tones you get is insane. It's a huge bang for your buck. I highly recommend ArtBeek. I have already been recommending them to my students over in my Fun Fab Drawing Club for months and months because they're just a really great value. You get a ton. It's insane. And again, just look for that brush nib. I'll put links in the description box below for all the things that I've mentioned, and have a great time. And then in this video, check out this playlist. You can learn how to draw and shade and color your faces in with alcohol markers like a pro. I'll see you next week with a new video.